Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Hello, and welcome back to Balancing Unhinged, the podcast where we dive into the beautiful chaos of life as a realtor and a health coach and a mom of two. I'm your host, Amber Shah, broadcasting from sunny St. Augustine. Actually, today is a little bit muggy, but still, we're here in St. Augustine. And in today's episode, we're going to be all about talking about how we navigate the ups and downs of parenting. So we'll share some stories about some challenges that I've had as my journey has taken me through being a mom of two. I have a daughter who's 10 and a son who's 8, and my daughter is in 4th grade. She loves to do aerial dance and ice skating, which is like an hour away, and just quit the violin. And my son has been juggling football, baseball, soccer, and winning jump roping contests and stuff. So as a mom and a realtor, I know how tricky it can be to find that sweet spot between work and family. So let's dive into some actionable tips that can help you balance it all the way to keeping your sanity intact, because the mental wellness is definitely, emotional wellness is high up on the self-care list of things that we need to do as parents, whether you're a mother or father, grandparent, and so on. First up, let's talk about the craziness of juggling sports. I actually still play softball myself, so I've been an athlete most of my life, and I play every Monday night. Just had a doubleheader last night, and man, my knees hurt. But my son does all three, and sometimes it feels like we're just living out of the car, right? And one of the hardest things that I find is like avoiding too much fast food, because like, what's the point of taking the kids out to do all these physical activities for their own physical wellness when you're just going to go ahead and turn around and give them a bunch of like Happy Meals and stuff. So from practices to the games, like it can totally be overwhelming. I think that my son was doing 2 different football leagues. I mean, I know he was. I can barely remember though. And he had a game on like Saturday morning at 10 and then another one literally at like 11. They were 30 minutes away from each other. So we'd go 30 minutes or maybe even 45 minutes early for the first game. But then we would have to leave that game after only 30 minutes, which was an hour long. But then we'd go to the next game and he'd already be like warmed up. But then we'd have 30 minutes in the car. And sometimes he'd eat a snack while you're in the car. So it's a little bit stressing sometimes. And then even now we have Thursdays. My daughter is going to be taking an ice skating lesson in Jacksonville, an hour away from here, at like the same time that my son has football practice, and my husband travels for work. So he has to make sure he's always going to be around for that. So that we can make sure that we do both of those, because we don't know anybody else doing ice skating, but we do know some other people that are doing football, but still, you know. My son actually was just getting mad on Saturday because I wanted to go do a women's wellness fest. I wanted to go do a wellness event for myself. I was like, Mom needs some self-care. Mom wants to go to the wellness fest. I didn't make it. Good thing I didn't buy tickets in advance. I was gonna, but so I didn't get to go because I wanted to be a good mom. And my son was actually having a fit because he had a baseball game and he was like, oh, you got to be around for my baseball game and you never come to my game. And I was like, what do you mean? I come to your game like all the time. Literally didn't go to his game like twice or something. But I'm like, you know what, dude, seriously, when I was a kid, my parents never came to my games like ever. I don't remember any times that they were at my games. I literally remember going like across the street to meet my dad at the bar at the end of my game, and I would get like a Shirley Temple. And he would get to finish watching whatever he was watching, and then we'd go home. So seriously, I'm like, I'm trying over here. So tip number 1, create a family calendar. Oh my gosh. And I don't like to advertise for products or whatever, but I just got a digital calendar that is also a photo frame. Now, I love digital photo frames because you can like load up all your photos from your phone, and you can load up a million multiple at a time. I had the first digital photo frame that I got, had 10 photos that you could load at a time. So that was kind of annoying, but I still have that frame years later, and memories be popping up that were from like 10 years ago. And I love it so much. So I just got this new one. So now I have them both. I kept them both, and now they're like right next to each other. So they flick through all the photos all day long. But then I got the calendar. So then I was able to make it so that my husband and I were able to like sync our calendars together, and then they pop up like with what we have to do during the day. Having a family calendar is very important. And then obviously that would just help you know what everybody's doing. So if you knew what everybody was doing, then you wouldn't need a family calendar. But in actuality, actually, a few years ago, I was trying to teach this yoga class. And then the place that I was working at, they were like, oh, we want you to work every other Tuesday. And I was like, okay. So one time I was at my son's soccer practice or game or something. It was on a Tuesday, and I thought that it wasn't my Tuesday to teach. And then I got a phone call saying like, are you coming to teach your class? And I was like, what? And I like didn't have a written calendar, and that was really embarrassing. So I can't stress enough how important it is to keep everyone on the same page, whether it's a shared Google calendar or a physical one on the fridge. I got a bunch of these calendars from the dollar store. They literally came in a 2-pack, and that's super useful. Some people get those like whiteboards, and you can just get a whiteboard. You can print them out. You could Google like the calendar, April 2025 calendar. Google it, and then you can print one. You can like printable, free, whatever. You can print them right out. So that will make it one place where everybody has the available times together, and you can manage your commitments so that you don't overcommit, and you can have that time to breathe. And then there's my daughter, who's passionate about like aerial dance and ice skating. So we were doing aerial dance on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but now we can only do one day because the ice skating was on Tuesdays. So then we were only doing Thursdays. And then now the new class is on Thursdays, so we can only do Tuesdays, but there's also a Wednesday, but she doesn't want to do Wednesdays. So now we're not sending her on Wednesdays, whatever. But yeah, so, and she does, she's on the student government committee too. In 4th grade over there, she's doing something like treasurer or something, but she has to go in every Thursday. She has to go in early to school to do student government. And she loves it. And it's so cute. So I love that she loves to do these things, and I want her to be able to do them. And then my son, he does like a soccer program after school on Mondays. Now I'm giving you like Publix all my schedule. I mean, whatever. It changes like every 2 weeks. So whatever. Good luck catching it. It's probably going to be over this week. I'm probably wrong. I got to check my schedule. I need to check my schedule, So there's like a dance, of schedules. Got like a little here, a little there. Everybody's doing their own thing. Sometimes somebody's got to take the lead, but those are the parenting chronicles, So then we have like prioritization. So I actually read a book once about time management. It was really cool because, it was boring as fuck. And I'm pretty sure it was probably like an audiobook. But in that book, they talked about like writing everything down. So I love having all these notebooks all over the place. One right here. So I write everything down in my notebook, and then honestly, my notebook just keeps getting filled up. What happens is you keep the notebook, and then you have everything in here. So then you can continuously write your notes. And then what I do is you put the most important stuff like on a certain page, right? So this is a cool notebook because it's got 3 different tabs. I think that the first tab got completely ripped out. But so we've got 3 tabs here, and one of them is just like a bunch of random notes in the front, and then some notes for like my book, another one's notes for real estate that I have notes, and then the back one is just like random other notes of things to do. And that's cool because I think I was writing in this one backwards. So then I started writing this one backwards, like stuff that I wanted to keep for a long time. I got some notes that are like in the middle, just stuff, and then you can rip all these out. So I like these ones that have the rings on them, because then you can rip them out and get rid of all the dirty paper, and it looks better. I don't like those composition notebooks. We have a ton of those, and it's because I never use them. So if anybody wants any composition notebooks, please let me know. I love handing out notebooks to people because I love helping people learn how to do stuff good, and do other stuff good too. So that's what we do over here. We want to help. So then what we did was we get to prioritize. So in this time management book, they talked about writing everything down, and then kind of like rating everything based on its level of importance, right? So you could do whatever you wanted. Say, 1 to 10, 1 to 5, 1 to 3, whatever. I like 1 to 3. And then you have all your things. And then you have your things that need to get done today. Like my car insurance going to get canceled if I don't renew it tomorrow or whatever, right? That's kind of important. So, paying important bills and stuff like that, definitely want to prioritize. But then the kids need to go to school. That's definitely a priority, right? So I'm sorry, I can't meet with you for a beach walk at 7:30 because my kids need to get on the bus at 7:45, So for me, I actually have a workout group that I do at 6 o'clock in the morning. I actually used to do it at 6:15 and I had to push it to 6 o'clock even earlier, even though I don't want to wake up earlier, but I was running late for getting the kids ready for school because I didn't have a single moment to even go rest, So I had to prioritize even some downtime. So you have to schedule your downtime, I schedule my workout first thing in the morning. If I don't do my workout first thing in the morning, I'm not going to do it during the day. Unfortunately, that's just the type of person I am. I used to do this thing where I would, be like, oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. So I have softball games that are scheduled at night. So of course I'm going to go play my softball game, but that's not really a workout. You do your training so that you're ready for the game, because even just last night, I had to go drop down and get my eagle on to get these balls, which I bumbled anyways. Oh my God. So, then I ended up hurting my knee, so I'm really excited because I got this new EMS set that I'm going to use, try to, train myself and recover myself with the EMS, so I love EMS. That's awesome. Make sure to carve out some time for family activities, right? That also allow everyone to unwind together, like a beach day or an unstructured playtime at the playground, stuff like that. We try to do that a lot. And we think that it's beneficial, and the kids still like to, do other stuff. So it's hard with a family of 4, even though it's, you want to take one parent to do one thing with one kid and then the other parent to do one thing with one kid. But then honestly, for me, it makes me feel like we're splitting up still, and then we're just like one against one almost, but I would prefer to do more family related stuff that is family. It's hard to get everybody on the same page, so then even at night we'll be oh, we're gonna watch a family show or a family movie, and the kids end up watching the same episode, the same show over and over and over. But I did find there's a little cycle to those things. They only last a few months, so you might as well just let it play out. And it could be a movie night or a walk. You can go around here. We can go to the beach. There are lots of parks to go to, and then walking downtown. It's essential to recharge, especially when life gets hectic. So sometimes you find that you guys are at each other's throats a little bit stressed out and just not connecting. And it's funny because I think that one time there was something that I'd seen about, and I don't know if it was just certain types of kids or something like that. But either way, I was reading this thing about how some kids will act up, and then if you give them compression therapy, pushing down on them, a weighted blanket, can help. So me personally, I love a good old fashioned weighted blanket. I have one. And my kids, I feel if they're acting out or something like that, all they really need is a good hug, so I actually do some meditations sometimes where you have your inner child, myself, somebody else from a certain age or whatever, a past self of myself who did something in the past or whatever, remember that time 5 years ago when you did this thing? I was a different person back then. Remember, I'm a different person. I've changed. I'm like this now. But you have to honor that part of yourself that is a part of you that has made you this person that you are now. So we have to get into that kind of stuff, especially as a nutrition and a health coach. I know how crucial it is to make sure that you have that mental energy to be able to give yourself the self-care, because sometimes it's easy to fall into this really big lumpy slump where you just want to curl up in the corner or whatever and just have that like safety of chilling in the fetal position and just watching the same show over and over, but sometimes you have to get out of it and you have to find that like intrinsic motivation and get that self motivated up to go. Gotta go. All right. So fueling your body. Also, it's super important, especially for kids. I've got to say, I'm a little bit embarrassed because this weekend my son went to go do a sleepover at his friend's house, and my daughter did too. So they both went. His family had like 4 kids, but my kids are friends with 2 of them, and they did the sleepover. And my son loves all different types of food. He's generally not a picky eater, I would say. But the lady kept texting me being like, Nico refuses to eat this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So like first, he refused to eat Chick-fil-A. Oh my gosh. So like as a nutritionist on like TikTok and all these different social media sites, I get a lot of, in my newsfeed, things about nutrition and how there are different chemicals and the additives and flavorings and preservatives and all that in different types of food. And especially how in the last like 15, 20 years, even 30 years, so many different additives have been added to the level of additives in these foods and the preservatives. So like even say, for example, like little girls are developing faster because there are more preservatives in the foods that they're eating. So like even my daughter, for example, loves eating ramen, and I love ramen. I'm Korean. I love ramen. I grew up eating ramen. I ate a lot of ramen growing up. And it wasn't just because it was poor people food and we were poor, but also I just loved it. So anyways, some people like those like fried bologna sandwiches, like comfort food, stuff like that. They just love it. I like, some like rice and Spam too. But anyways, that's beyond the point. The point is my child wasn't eating the Chick-fil-A at the sleepover party. And it was like messed up because I was like, he's mostly healthy. He's pretty healthy. But yeah, I'm like, he's been seeing these Chick-fil-A commercials, anti-Chick-fil-A commercials that I've been watching. And I tell them all the time, like, we don't want to go to McDonald's. We don't want to go to these different fast food places because they're full of chemicals. And they are, dude. But if you're over somebody's house and you're doing a sleepover, then you kind of won't get invited back if you're super picky about all the food, especially if they're like taking you out to a restaurant, I guess, or whatever, which sucks. And I'm like, I'm sorry that my son's being like a food elitist or something. But yeah, but I'm glad that he's healthy. But that was a weird scenario. Anybody else's kids do that kind of stuff? Let me know, please. But if you involve your kids in meal prep and like take them to the grocery store and take them shopping and teach them how to read the ingredients. And if you teach them how to cook too, read them the instructions and the recipes and how to do stuff too. That's really good stuff. Just letting your kids help out in the kitchen not only teaches them about nutrition, but it also encourages them to try new foods. So my kids love avocados, and like very few other kids that I know eat avocados, and my kids are eating lots of other stuff. So, and I'm not like bragging about my kids, and that's all. Also, I recently learned that it was a little bit wacky. So we are a little bit crunchy in my house. Sorry, but not sorry. We eat a lot of organic food. I've been a nutritionist, certified nutritionist for like 3 years, but then practicing like the yogic and the Ayurvedic lifestyle and all that stuff for around 13 years too. So we want to encourage them to try new things, and we also want to encourage them to live a healthy lifestyle. But in personal training and in nutritionism and whatnot, there's also like things like food elitism, right? So it's like, I don't know if you ever saw this guy. There was this video one time of this guy, and I forget who the guy was, but basically it was like some American guy or British guy, I forget, but he was from the first world. And he literally went to like the forest and visited some villagers that were in a tribe that were all wearing like the little loincloths or whatever. And he was trying to spread the good word of veganism, maybe, or something. But these people ended up like living in the forest, and they ate everything that they could get as hunters and gatherers. And he was literally like rolling up to them in the woods being like, this is why you should eat all these nuts and stuff like that instead of killing the animals in the forest or whatever. And it was like, it's like food elitism. It's like, how are you going to go to these people that are living in the woods and tell them not to kill the boar? Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, and then be like, oh, it's for your own health or something like that. And then they'd be like, I mean, we're mad skinny and in good shape. So what are you talking about? Like, we're already in good shape. So I don't understand what you're even here for. Anyways, get out of here. Find your own visit. Go make your own village. Go make them eat a bunch of nuts. Have a great day. I thought that was funny. So like food elitism is what that is like, you can't, like, I'm like, you can't go in, or like, you're starving to death and you say like, oh, but I'm not going to eat that. I'd rather starve to death. I'm like, okay, well, fucking starve to death. Whatever. So yeah, that lady was funny. She was texting me and I was like, sorry, I didn't know he would do that. Didn't expect him to do that. Like, whatever. So I was like, either way, he's not going to die of starvation tonight or tomorrow. So I'll get to him before then. And dude, he was so hungry when I picked him up. And then he wanted to go to Panera. I was like, you want to go to Panera? Like, what do you think the difference between Panera and Chick-fil-A is? Like, seriously? Micrograms of sodium, micrograms of preservatives, whatever. Like, allegedly they make their own bread at Panera, but like, do they really? And then he's like getting like the chicken sandwich anyways, which is like a super preserved, ultra thinly sliced, ultra processed chicken fillet of some sort, like those things. Have you ever looked at the Panera chickens like closely? I'll tell you, you get one of these like chicken sandwiches and you expect like a chicken breast or whatever. And like, in nutrition land, like a chicken breast is going to be like 8 ounces of chicken, maybe, or 6. You get like 2 to 3 ounces, like a little tiny, like, and then it's like it's like a piece that's been sliced up as tiny as they could friggin' actually make it. It's absolutely nuts. Honestly, it reminds me of like when I was like in my early 20s and I was broke, or as like a teenager, like right after like my dad moved out, whatever, didn't have that much food in the house or whatever. And then you're like trying to like make something and then you're like, let's just cut it up like even smaller and maybe it'll like go further that way. That's like literally what Panera does. They're like, oh, let's just cut up the chicken into like tiny, tiny little pieces. You got like, here, you get 5 pieces of chicken. And you're like, yeah, dude, but these are like slivers of chicken. These are like the size of the pieces. These are smaller than like a free slice of deli chicken that you'd get at like Publix or whatever. So like, seriously. Anyways, so it's funny, just going full circle, right? That's the material. Anyways. Okay. So, getting the kids involved with the meal prep and getting them to try different foods. That was the moral of the story. And balancing work and family life is definitely challenging. Like, hashtag blessed that I've got my husband here because he helps out a good amount, which is amazing. And shout out to all the single parents out there that are rolling solo, because that is absolutely nuts. And I totally see how stressful that could be, because there was a time when my husband was traveling so much that he was like barely here. Honestly, I think he was like, Monday through Friday practically all week. And then like, oh, I'm going to come home for the weekend. But then he like, dude, these guys that like travel a lot, they end up going to these hotels and then they're like, oh, the hotel is like spotless. And then they come home and my house is a pile of garbage because the hotel was so clean. Oh my God. And they're like, oh, why wasn't the house clean when I got home? I'm like, dude, I was busy. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me right now? Anyways, so stuff like that. Like, life is hard. Again, prioritizing. Like, does the clothes need to get folded this very instant? Do they need to get put away this very... Dude, I don't know if you've seen Mount Laundry More over here that I have. I won't even show you because it's embarrassing. But there are these videos and I see them about these people that have like ADD and stuff. And they're like, oh, I got like... I finally folded them. Now we got to put them away. When are we going to put them away? I don't know. When I run out of something, you got to run out of something and then you have a reason. Give me a reason. That's what we need is a reason. So you need that motivation, the intrinsic motivation, the will. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you wanted to do it, you'd do it, right? So prioritizing that. So people used to do the weekend cleanup thing. You're okay, we're going to live like slobs all week long and then we'll just do our cleanup thing. That's fine. If that's your plan and that's your schedule and that's what fits into your life, do that. Continue. It's all good. If that makes you healthy and happy, let's not even worry about that. All right. But then moving forward to going to work. So I try to work as much as I can. My mind is always on work. I'm a little bit of a workaholic in that sense where I always have ideas. Who doesn't have ideas all the time? I like to write them down. But then sometimes you're running around, you don't have a notebook. And then you end up emailing it to yourself. That's a great idea. I love it. Emailing stuff to myself. But balancing work with family life is a constant juggling act, especially for me in real estate. People end up calling me, and they want to do same day showings and stuff. And it'll be today, Tuesday, 2:00 in the afternoon. Can we see this house at 5:00? And you're literally there. And then they'll be oh, I saw this other one too. Can I go see this one? Well, let's see. And then again, that's when you have to have your backup with you, or sometimes I've seen realtors who actually bring their kids with them places, and that's great because it's really humanizing, I feel, to have to show people I'm doing my best for you. Sorry, my kids have to come, but they're interested in seeing this house too. They love it. It's kind of fun. I love going to see houses. So it's not kind of fun. It is fun. I love it. You never know what you're going to see in there, It's interesting. It's really cool. Low expectations, no expectations. Set the expectations to learn something. All right. Setting boundaries. Okay. So I get a lot of late night text messages and emails, and it is a fight not to answer them sometimes, or just to respond saying that I'm busy and then I'll get back to you, or I'll look right into that. Do you remember that movie? The Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And in that movie, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, it was starring Christina Applegate. She played a high school student and she was on summer vacation, but their mom went away and then the babysitter dies. So then she had to get a job because they spent all the money that their mom left for them. So their mom left on vacation, left them some money for the babysitter. Babysitter died. They took the money. One of the brothers bought a stereo system or something. But the moral of the story is she ended up getting a job for some woman named Rose. And then one time they were stepping away from a meeting, and Rose says to her, anytime I tell you to do something, I want you to tell me. Right on top of that, Rose. So I love that. Right on top of that, Rose. And then you're just anything you need, right on top of that, Rose. I'm going to write that down. Maybe I'll do that. I'm going to do that later. Not maybe, but I'll take care of that later. But for now, you tell them right on top of that. And then that makes them happy. Just like Rose in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. I love that. But setting boundaries is great because you need to set clear boundaries. I had a really cool meditation that I need to do more. But it's you close your eyes and you take a deep breath. And then you find your center and whatnot. And then you draw an imaginary circle in the floor. And then you draw or you build and you feel a dome building over you. So you're surrounded by this dome. And then you get to push on the walls of the dome outward. Okay. But it's as if the dome is coming inward towards you. It's coming in, but you have to push it out, and then you get to multiply and stuff, and then you get to say no. So that was really cool. So that was the visual of that one, of the boundary setting one. You can go no, because I need to work on that, and that's something that I've been working on and will continue to work on, or die trying. But setting boundaries is essential to have clear work hours. Actually, for example, I just traded my license over to a new brokerage, and my new brokers are super strict with their boundaries. And they're like, listen, we are only going to be responding to stuff like normal business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 6 or whatever. And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. I like that. And because my previous broker was like constantly, he would text me like all the time, all hours, you know, first thing in the morning, late at night, nothing weird, but just like, you know, it was just like nonstop. And I'm like, okay, I'm going home for the day. And then I would get more texts at night that I'd be responding to. But I guess it was my own fault for not setting those boundaries and saying that I wasn't going to be responding for stuff at a certain time. So, I think I set up an auto email responsive thing, whatever, but that was fun. And letting your clients and people that you work with understand that when you're not available, you won't be responding, but they also know when you are available and that you will be responding, you know. But being a realtor and a health coach, trying to balance the financial wellness aspects of it. One thing that I found, I did my first full year as a realtor last year. And this year I had to submit my taxes. And last year I had 5 sales total. For my first full year, I think that was okay. I mean, I'm not bragging or anything, but it was more than one. Yay! So I did all these expenses and I spent a ton of money on pens, notebooks, swag, stationery, business cards were like $500, and I got like plastic ones. So I did get like the more expensive ones, whatever. Anyways, just saying. That's how much, like, dude, I spent like over $5,000 last year in expenses that I had. And those weren't even like lunches and stuff, like for real. Like I didn't even count those, because if I had all my lunch receipts from every day I was supposed to be working, but actually going out for lunch. But I mean, we were talking about stuff that I'm talking about over here. But yeah, you have to tie it all together. Get the financial wellness, social wellness, making mom friends and non-mom friends. Because sometimes like you want to talk to people about non-mom related stuff. So like even I have a good friend here who I love, and even though she does have kids, we just go out and like have adventures. We're gonna go hiking. We're gonna go Colorado, go hiking there too. We're gonna go do some adventures. So I have an adventure buddy, and I've got mom friends, and I just had a new friend that I met a couple of years ago here, and we're going to be opening a nonprofit organization. We just opened a nonprofit organization. So today we are meeting about that and trying to figure out stuff about grants. So I'm learning about grants. If anybody has any grants that they want to let me know about, please let me know about some grants. But the financial wellness is very important. Social wellness is very important. Environmental wellness is very important. My nonprofit is going to be trying to do some stuff in the environment. We're going to be working on some composting. I am so excited about composting because I used to do it when I was at the yoga ashram, and I did like a lot of it. But I haven't done it in a while. So we're going to get back to that. That'll be a lot of fun. And remembering that perfection is not the goal. Progress is. Right. So even the physical wellness, I work out a lot, and I try to work out almost every day. We did yesterday, we did today. So tomorrow we're going to take the day off, which is great because we try to do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And then sometimes I'll go take a yoga class or something. I definitely run around with my kids and whatever. I'm not saying that I'm like running marathons with my kids or 5Ks or anything. I might be getting into 5Ks. I don't know. I've been trying to get the will emotionally to get into 5Ks for about like 10 years or longer, but I'm just really not feeling the 5Ks, unfortunately. I think I did one a couple of years ago. I think I did the bubble run. I don't know if that was a 5K, but I did do that. I think I did that. I did that like alone. I can't believe I did that alone. So because I was like, I signed up for this bubble run like a year or two ago, and I forget if I thought somebody was going to come with me or something. I forget. But I ended up going alone, and it was a little bit of all right. It was fine. It was funny because I'm always like looking around being like, I think I'm going to run into somebody I know, but I didn't run into anybody I knew. And it was interesting. I just, went there, did my little run there, and then left. I don't run very much, so I didn't have like headphones on, I don't think. I don't remember. But it was all right. It was okay. Some people ended up walking. Ain't no shame in that game. Oh, one time, what did we do? I did another 5K a long time ago, almost 10 years ago. And it was like a yoga fest kind of thing in Boston area. And it was like a triathlon-ish or whatever. I don't know. It was a 5K. And then you could do like yoga classes and stuff. And they had like partner yoga, acro yoga, aerial yoga with the slings. And they had like a bunch of like these like TP setup things that they had there. That was pretty cool. That was my first time doing aerial yoga. That was fun. So it's nice to try new things. So yeah, I was trying to go to that wellness fest on Saturday this week, and my son got all mad that I was going to miss his baseball game. And I was like, there aren't going to be that many baseball games for him as an 8-year-old boy. There's going to be more wellness fests for the women's wellness fest. And those things are really, they're a little bit of like money-making schemes anyways, you know what I'm saying? So it's like $45 for a ticket. And I think there were only like 2 classes that were taking place or something. Whatever. Anyways, I went a few years ago, and it was a good time. It was cute. I wouldn't mind going again. That's why I was trying to go again. But anyways, these kids are only going to be kids for so long. My daughter's no longer 8. And my son will be 9 soon. They're going to keep on moving on. They're going to keep on keeping on. And we're going to continue this journey together, and hopefully it'll be fun and hopefully we'll smile more than we cry. So that's it. Social wellness, environmental wellness, emotional wellness, physical wellness, financial wellness, spiritual wellness. If you guys are into any kind of religion or anything like that, it's really nice to teach the kids. I'm not like super dedicated to anything specific, but my husband's mother is Greek, so she likes the Greek Orthodox religion, and she is that. And when my kids were born, she was like really interested in saving their souls and whatnot and getting them baptized Greek Orthodox. So I went ahead and did that, for her. And it was like a cute little family thing, and it was cute and it was fun. And it felt good, I guess. So if that's in your practice too, doing stuff that makes you feel good as a human and as a family and brings you together. And that's the most important thing, is being united. Because I have a little bit of a broken family history myself too, and it's not fun to be broken. But there are certain people that try to keep it together, So you want to be the change that you want to see in the world, and you want to break the cycles that have created any kind of unhingedness in the family unit, right? So thank you for joining me on Balancing Unhinged, and I hope that these tips can help you navigate your parenting journey with a little bit more ease. Don't forget to subscribe and share your own parenting challenges and solutions with me on social media, on Instagram or TikTok, Facebook. And here you might be able to leave some comments, I believe, depending on where this is located. But until next time, keep balancing that beautiful chaos. I'll see you later. Bye.